Hi, this is Tina from Tina's Love of Crochet. Hi everyone. Okay, today we'll be making this cute little bag. It's kind of a mosaic style bag. Starts from the bottom, and I've put some little feet on as well. So you don't have to put all these bits on. I've got, an adjustable strap, these metal bits here, plus inside I've also got a zipper. So like that, plus I've made a pocket for my phone pocket, and key holder. So you don't have to have all those. I've also put a bit of plastic in the bottom just to hold that base straight. But yeah, as I said, all that not really necessary. Put that back in. But yeah, if you do want to put a base in, that will be the measurement for how big you are going to start your chain, your initial chain. Okay, so yeah, it's a mosaic style. We've got the 2 yarns that we're working with. I have used 8-ply yarn, this one here for the top bit, and the bottom one here was also 8-ply yarn, but however I am going to use this one for this new bag, and it's a very fine one, which means I'll be double stranding and using 2 strands of yarn instead for the contrasting colour underneath. And also we'll be using a 3.5mm hook for a nice kind of tight finish, especially for these bits here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's begin. So I've got my main colour, and I'm just going to do a slip knot. Okay, now I'm going to chain the length that I need for the base of the bag. So as I said, I was using this plastic thing in the bottom of my bag. So I'm going to chain that length that way. Okay, so I'm not counting, don't have a heart attack. I'm not going to count. I am just going to chain that length approximately. You could go slightly bigger if you wanted to. Okay, but it doesn't matter, just whatever size you want your bag to be. So this will be the base of your bag, working from there. Okay, so just, start your chain. And don't work them too tightly, just nice and loose enough to get your hook in easily later. And I'll be back when I have finished doing this chain. Okay, so I've done my chain, and I'm just measuring it here. So just loosely, it falls just on the inside, but I've done it loose enough so that my stitches will spread that out anyway. Okay, so about that. Don't stress too much. Okay, so what we're going to do is first row single crochet, second chain from the hook, and then all the way along. However, I am using the back bump. So if you're not aware of the back bump, I think it's the prettiest way to work into your chain. So normally we would pick up a loop here, like that, as normal, looking at it from the plait side. But if you turn it over, you can see a spine. There's these back bumps there. So I'll just pick one up. Just there. So they're a little bit fiddlier to get, but they look a lot better in the end. Okay, so if we flip it over, skipping that, that first one is actually hidden right in there. So I'm going straight for this one here. And you want to use your nails to get in there. And we're just doing single crochet or double crochet in UK terms, but I'm doing US terms. So just single crochet, pick up that back bump, so it's one strand only, like that. And when you flip it over, you can see it actually looks like the top. So they look good on both sides. Isn't that pretty? All right, so you're just going to work your way along the chain into those back bumps. And I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so I'm just coming to the end of my chain, just doing that last few back bumps there. Oops. And the last one. Okay, so all we're doing at the end, okay, let's have a look at it. Give it a stretch. Yep, that's a good size. It will stretch a little bit. I should have mentioned earlier, if you are using cotton, probably cotton's the best way to go to make a bag, as it doesn't have as much give as acrylic or wool. So, but you can use anything. So at the end, we are just going to chain one, turn our work, and single crochet in every stitch along. So I'm going to sew my tail in as we go, so I don't have to do it later. So I'm just sticking it on the top of my stitches as I work over it for a little bit. Like that. Just work it in. Give it a little tug every now and then so that it's not gathering in the stitches. And just single crochet all the way along. Like so. When it gets too short, just let it drop. And then that's all done. And I will see you back at the end. Okay, I'm just working my very last stitch. Make sure you get that very last stitch at the end. Sometimes it looks a little bit different. Otherwise, your work is going to start shrinking. Okay, so make sure it's just straight there, flush. So all we're doing for now is just chain one, turn, single crochet in every stitch across, like before. And what you want to do is do as many rows as it takes so it becomes this thick, okay, because that's the bottom of the bag. So you can do it as big as you want or as narrow as you want, but because I've got this plastic thing that I'm putting in, I'm making it about that size. Okay, and then we will be changing directions. So just keep going, single crochet up and back, chaining at the end, and I'll see you back once that is the right size. Okay, now as you can see, I've grown it to almost the width, and you can see that it's gone actually a little bit shorter, which is fine. So you give it a good stretch, and it's just a little bit shorter all the way around. So what we are actually going to do now is we're going to change directions and work around the whole edge like that, doing half double crochet or a half treble in UK terms. So I've done the very last single crochet there, so I'm just going to chain one, and we're going to turn and work along this way. Okay, so you want to aim at putting one half double crochet in every row. So if you look at your singles, you want to put one in every row. There, 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 and so on. So, yeah, so evenly space them. So yarn over. I'm just going to put the first, I'm actually going to put two in that first one, because we want to get around the corner. We don't actually want it to go up yet. We just want to keep it flat for now. So I've put an increase there in the corner. So continue round, half double crochet, down this edge, and you're going to place one in every row. Now I'm just placing it anywhere up here, trying to pick up a couple of strands of yarn. So don't pick up just one strand of yarn, you want to pick up two at least. In every row. Almost at the corner again. So now when we get to this corner, we're actually working the other side of the foundation chain. So this was our original foundation chain. So now we're going to be working the other side. As you can see, it looks nice and neat because we use that third loop, the back loop to do our first row in. But before we go to there, we are going to pop in 3 half double crochets. Oh, here comes a visitor. Hello. 3 half double crochets in that corner, just to get us around the corner. Hey, Missy, I'm working here. Okay, I'll move that. All right, so now we're just going to be working on, oh gosh, there goes the cat. Sorry. Okay. On the other side of the foundation chain, and as you can see, there's 2 nice lovely loops that look like a normal stitch, so that you can easily work into them. Okay, let's see that. Just getting those 2 loops as normal. Okay, so I'll work my way around to the next corner and see you back in a minute. Okay, I'm almost at the end here, just working the last couple of stitches. Okay, so that's our last one. So in the last one, to get around the corner, I'm adding 3 half double crochets into the same spot, into that very last stitch of the foundation chain. Now, same thing again, round the corner, and just work your way 1 half double crochet per row. Like so. More. Okay, just in that last one there, again, 3 half double crochets in the corner. Okay, and now we are just putting a row over the last edge. Like that. So it's looking like that at the moment. And I'll meet you back once I get back to this corner. Okay, so I'm back to the start, and I've just got another couple here. Okay, and there is that first corner. So I'm just going to slip stitch. So where we actually started was where the single crochet of the rows ended right there. So that kind of counts as the first one of the corner. So that's what we're going to slip stitch into, that first single crochet, which is a little bit tight. Okay, so that's going to be our corner again. So we want to chain one, and we're going to put 3 half double crochets in there again. And we're going to do the exact same thing, going around one more row. Okay, so just work your way around, all the way around till we are back at the start. And always putting 3 half double crochets in the corner. Okay, I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so I've made it to the end again, and I have one more left. Okay, that's my slip stitch, so I'm not working into that one. So we're just going to slip stitch into that first half double to join. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let's have a look how it's looking. Okay, so with a good stretch, that should be fine. Yep. Beautiful. So obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, as mine is not, but it will sit nicely once it's done. Okay, so the next row now, what we're going to do is we're going to be working one in every stitch, one single crochet in every stitch, but we're going to be working in the second and third loop of these half doubles. And this is why I did the half double crochet and not single for these last couple of rounds, because it does have the 3 loops. So what we're going to do, because we're going to work in a spiral, I'm not going to chain up or anything. So just to show you where these 3 loops are, I'll just pull my hook out and let's hold it up here. So if you look at it here, you have your front loop there, and you have your back loop there, and then if you turn it around a bit further, you have your third loop in there. So what we're going to be working in, we're going to skip this front loop here, and we're going to work in both these two, the second and third loop. And what that's going to do is just going to start bringing the bag up, and it'll have this nice little one line ridge there to help it shape up. Okay, so we are just doing single crochet. Actually, I will chain up because it's much easier to get into. Now, the first one is obviously really tricky to find. So just turn it around, find that first loop, then find the second loop. I don't know if you can see that. Find that second loop and then dig out that third loop. Once you get those, the rest will be easy. Okay, so we are not increasing in the corner. We are just going around so that it starts forming shape and it starts coming up. Okay, so second and third loop. As you can see, there's a line forming here. That's that front loop that's being left alone. So single crochet, second and third loop. Using both those second and third loops just gives it a bit more stability. And avoiding the first loop will help it sit upright. Okay, so just work your way around that second and third loop. As I said, no increasing in the corners, just one in every stitch. One single crochet in every stitch in the second and third loop. Like that. Okay, I'll meet you back once I've gone all the way around. Okay, so now I'm here at the end. I've got a couple more to go. And the last one there. And now what I'm going to do is continue round in a spiral. So I'm not going to join, I'm not going to slip stitch to join. I'm just going to continue around so that we don't have that, that seam, that joining seam in the bag. So this part here is going to be the gusset, and I'll just show you the original bag. So this is what we're doing here. All right, so we've got the bottom, and now we're going to, whoops, do this part. So it's probably about, you know, about an inch or so, inch and a bit. And what I've actually done, I've been working single crochets, but doing the knit stitch version. If you can see that, they're basically, you're working into the middle kind of V section of your single crochet, and it just gives this really nice, solid, neat finish. But if you don't want to do that and you find it too tedious, just stick to your normal single crochet. Okay, but that's what it looks like with the knit stitch. And I'll show you how to do that. So the trick to doing the knit stitch is make your stitches, your single crochets, quite loose and not too tight. So I'm just going to find that middle bit of the first one. All right, so I'm just pulling it apart so you can see there's that little V at the front. So I'm not going in the stitch where I normally would up here with the two loops. I'm sort of poking it right in the center. And this row is going to be quite tedious because I have pulled my tension a bit tight. But once you've done this row, you want to keep, that's not even it, you want to keep your tension quite loose. So from now on, when you're doing these singles, if you're doing the knit stitch, pull it loose because it's going to fill up the gap the next round. Okay, so can you see that? So there's your little V for the next single. Just in there, and they are quite small. So this round is going to be a bit tricky, but once you get through it, it'll be worth it. Okay, so poke your way in and loosely do a single. Okay. Struggle your way in. And a nice loose single. Yeah, so these are all quite tight. So I'm going to be here for a while trying to get in, whoop, that's not it, into these stitches. But all we're doing is single crocheting all the way around, whichever way you want to do it. And you're basically just going to go round in a spiral now. And this is going to be the outside. So it's going to start coming up this way, sitting up like that. Okay, so we're just going to go round and round and round until you grow it to the size of the gusset that you want. So whether it's an inch or inch and a half, it's up to you. So just keep going around in a spiral, single crochet, either knit stitch or normal single crochet, till you have the gusset size that you want. And I will meet you back when that's all done. Okay, so now just quickly, I forgot to mention about one thing we do need to do in the next couple of rows. And I have done that first row of knit stitch, as you can see. Now my fingers are dead. Okay, but as you can see, since I've loosened up my tension, getting in there is now much easier. And it just kind of glides through like normal. Much better. Okay, so what we want to do, just in the next couple of rows, I need to put in a couple of decreases just on these edges. So if we can put in a decrease somewhere here and somewhere here, it doesn't really matter, just anywhere before, after the corner and before this corner. Okay, just because when it starts sitting up, it starts to gather in this corner. So we want to sort of shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so in the next 2 rows, pop in a decrease there, and on the other side as well, decrease there, decrease there. So you'll end up with 4 decreases in the next 2 rows. Okay. And yep, so that's what it's looking like. It's still sort of sitting flat, but it will start coming up, especially once those decreases go in as well. Okay. See you back once it has grown. Okay, so now as you can see, I've finished the gusset part, and I've put my little plastic bit in just to have a look how it feels. Looking good. So I've actually gone up 11 rows, and you want to make sure that you're counting each side to make sure you've got 11 on each side, because we went in a spiral. You might not figure out where you've stopped and started. So yeah, you want to make sure you count and all the edges are even. Okay, so what we're going to do now is join our other color, our contrasting color, and I am using this sparkly green bluey colors, and I'm double stranding because it's such a thin yarn. So yeah, I just need to double strand for this one. So to attach the new color, all I'm going to do, bring my loop down. So I'm going to just loop through the new color, pull that down, and you want to leave this other color attached because we're going to use it again soon, and all you do is just pull it up when we need to use it. So just leave that there. Okay, and we are going to, actually what I should have done first, sorry, take that back out. We want to just slip stitch in the next stitch, and that will just bring, sorry, with our original color, slip stitch in the next stitch to bring that level down so we don't have a step. Okay, now we're good to go. So bring that contrasting color back. Look. So these rounds we're actually going to join each round. Okay, so we're starting with, and just a trick to sew in your tail as we go, just use both of the strands just for a first couple of stitches. So I am chaining one to start, and all we're going to do, so back in that same stitch we are going to half double crochet. So yarn over into your stitch and half double, and we're just going into the stitch normally, not into that middle bit to make that knit stitch look. So we're just picking it up normally like we would a stitch just under those 2 loops. Okay, so we're dropping that one. So I've done one half double crochet with both strands. Now I'm dropping the tail here, but I'm going to work over it just to sew it in. So we want to go all the way around now, doing half double crochets. Just like that. So yarn over, and I'm just sitting my tail on top of the stitch, like that, so that it gets locked in there. And it's already locked in at the start as well, so it's extra. Half double, yarn over into the stitch, pull out your loop, pull through all 3. So 1 per stitch. and still locking in my tail, and give it a little bit of a tug every now and then because it does want to gather up in there. Okay, so yep, just 1 half double crochet all the way around. Sew that until it's almost gone, and then you'll be able to just cut it off. That's one less thing to worry about. Okay, and yeah, that can be put aside now, and I'll cut that off later. So I'm just going to work my way all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the other end. Okay, now I'm back at the start, so I'm just going to do the last 2 here, and we want to find our first half double to slip stitch into. Now mine's very chunky because I use the 2 strands to sew in the 2 strands. So you want to just squeeze your way in. There we go, and just slip stitch through. Okay, we're chaining up 1, and we are going to do 1 more row of the half double crochets. So every time so back into the same stitch that you slip stitched into, make sure you're not jumping one, so you want to go back into that chunky one. Okay, so we're just going around 1 more time before the fun part starts. A little bit tricky, but once you start and you get going, the rest is simple. So just that setting up section for that mosaic sort of part is a little bit tricky, but yeah, only that first couple of rows, and then away you go. It will be very easy after that. Okay, so I will just finish this row and meet you back at the start once I'm done. Okay, so we're at the end again. Just finish these last 2. Now, just be careful of that one, because some people think that's a stitch, but it's actually the slip stitch from the previous round. So yeah, just be careful not to get that last one there. And we're going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet. There we go. Okay, so we've got the 2 rounds of half double crochet done. So now we are going to start doing this meshy part, this meshy overlay, and we're going to start down here. So the first row is a little bit different to all the rest. So that, yeah, that setup row is slightly different. But once we do that and we get the next part of the mesh done, the rest is very repetitive. Okay, so let's get on to that. Okay, so what we want to do is bring through our original yarn and just loop it through. Pull down the contrasting color so the loop disappears, and we'll drop that for now. Okay, so we've chain 1 with our new color. Now what we've got to do, we're going to start these, let's call them upside down V's, and we want to start 1 back. So I'm going to count where we're at as the stitch will be skipping. So I'm going to go directly down. That's going to be the middle one. And we need to skip 2 of these. So I'm going to start over here. So our first front post treble, we're going to be doing front post treble 2 together. So our first front post treble is going to go around this stitch. Then we'll be skipping these 2 and finishing it around this one. So this is approximately in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so let's give that a go. So we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to find, there's the middle, so this one, 2 over, so we skip that middle one and the next one, and we're going to land in the third one over. So we stretch back over to here, and we're going front post around that single crochet from a couple of rows down. Pull through 2, pull through 2, but don't finish it. You're going to start another one, yarn over twice. You're going to skip those 2 in the middle, and you're going to go around this one. Pull out your loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through all 3 to finish it. So that stitch that we're in, where we slip stitch, it's very little, but that's what the one we're skipping. So we skip that one, and what we need to do is do 2 single crochets in a row, and they're going to be in the third loop of the half double crochet, just to confuse you a bit more. So we're skipping that one, and we're going to go in the third loop of this one. So there's your front loop, there's your back loop, and if you go a little bit further down, you'll see the third loop. Okay, so what that's going to do, just going to single crochet in the third loop. It brings these 2 stitches, these 2 loops forward, so it kind of hides our green a bit. So we need 2 in a row. So single crochet in the next third loop from the half double crochet stitches. Okay, so what we're going to do is our next 2 together. The first one is starting in the same spot the last one ended. So we're going back, so yarn over twice, we're going back to this post, and we're just going to go in there and do our treble, only half of it. So leave the last 2 on the hook, yarn over twice. We're going to skip 2 of these single crochets under here and go in the third one and finish our 2 together. Pull through 2, pull through 2, then pull through all 3. Okay, so we need to skip one at the back, which is going to be this one. You can see that there. So we're skipping this one because that one there has been used. So skip this one, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in a row in that third loop. 2 single crochets in a row. Okay, so now we're yarning over twice, going back where we finished, and do your treble 2 together. So leave 2 on the hook, yarn over twice, skip 2 stitches, and front post around that one. Pull through 2, then finish them both. Pull through all 3. Skip 1 at the back, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, yarn over twice, back where this one ended. So you're doubling up, pull through 2, yarn over twice, skip these 2 stitches, pull through 2, pull through all. Skip one of those half doubles, and you're going to do 2 singles in the next 2 stitches, third loop. Okay, I'll show you again, and then I'll meet you at the other end. So starting a treble, pull through 2, yarn over twice, skip 1, 2, go in the third, pull through 2, pull through all 3, skip 1, third loop, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so bump the camera. This is what it's looking like. Zigzag like that. Okay, so when we get back around the other end, I have no idea if I'm going to have the right amount of stitches to finish it. So it'll either be pot luck or we'll be fudging it at the end to make it work. Okay, I'll see you back at the other end. Okay, I'm nearly at the end. Just finish off these last couple. Let's see what happens. And over twice, 1, 2, skip 2. There. Through 3, miss 1, single crochet, 2 in a row, third loop. All right, where are we at? Okay, this looks promising. So I've got 2 to skip, which is great. So we're going to start that last one back into here. Pull through 2, pull through 2. And now we have to join, is it that one to there? Oh yeah, because that one needs 2, sorry. Just go back into the one that has one already in it, and that'll be the second one for this one. So they've all got 2 posts in them. All right, so yarn over twice into here. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through all. Okay, and now we can skip 1. And do we have 2 in a row? Oh yeah, because that's the one we're skipping. Oh yeah, we do. Okay. Unbelievable. All right. Oh no, actually we don't. So, so that's one where we've got to put 2 in a row. So instead of skipping 1 this time, because I don't have 2 to skip, 1 to skip, I've only got 2 left. So I'm just going to put those last 2 single crochets in a row. That's how we fudge it. And we're going to slip stitch into that first treble to 2 together. Okay, so say you had like 3 left over or 1 left over, just go with it. Just make it work. Even if you're only skipping 1 or you're skipping 3 instead, yeah, just work it out. It'll be fine, because once you've done that little fudge on that first row, the rest are going to work out because we've got the right amount of stitches now. All right, so this is what we are looking like. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to drop our main color, pick up our contrast color again, pull it through, shrink that one down, chain 1. Okay, so this one gets a little bit fiddly, but you'll get used to it once you've done it a few times. Pull that contrast color nice and tight so it disappears. All right, so what we're going to be doing in the top of, so where we've slip stitched, we've gone into the treble 2 together. So in the top of those ones, we're going to do a half double crochet. Now we have to sort of split this open and find those 2 stitches there that we used to single crochet in the third loop. Okay, so you'll see these 2 front loops of those half double crochets because we only used the back loop. So we've got 2 little front loops in a row. And in those, we are just doing double crochets. So pick up that 2 front loops and double crochet. That's 1, and in the next one as well. So they fall in the middle of these V's. Okay, so now in the treble 2 togethers, we're just putting a half double. Okay, now we're going to double crochet 2 in a row just in the front there. So you're picking up your contrasting colour and you're double crocheting. Those 2 front loops of your contrasting colour, double crochet. The next stitch is just a half double crochet. Okay, so 2 double crochets in a row, picking that up from the front there. And the next one. And then a half double. Okay, so it's looking like this. Got the 2 in the V, 1 up the top. 2 doubles, 1 half double. So split that V and find those 2 loops. Double crochet, double crochet. Half double at the top. Double crochet, double, and a half double at the top. Okay, so make your way all the way around. I'll see you on the other end. Okay, so I'm just doing the last one now. 2 double crochets in the front there. And we already have the one on the top where we started, so just slip stitch into that first one. Okay, and that's what we have so far. Beautiful. So the next row is the easiest row. Okay, all we are doing is half double crochet in every stitch. Chain 1 to start, sorry, just sped through that. So chain 1 and half double crochet back in the very same stitch, and then in every stitch around. Easy peasy. Okay, see you at the other end. Okay, I'm just finishing up the last 2 here. We're going to slip stitch into the first one to join. Now we're picking up our main colour, so drop the contrast colour, loop in the main colour and chain 1 and pull that contrast colour tight so that loop disappears, if I can find it. Oops. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're doing our treble 2 together, and we're doing them over these first 2 open trebles. So if you look at it like a V, we're doing each side of the V. But first we're also putting in 2 single crochets in a row as well. Now the single crochets are working in the 3rd loop of your half double crochets. So we got to find that 3rd loop at the back, and we're working in 2 single crochets in a row, and then we do a front post treble 2 together. So let's first of all find that first one. So the aim is, if we follow this middle of this V up to the top, it lines up best with this one here, with this half double crochet. Okay, so we're following it up. So before that, we have 2 that we need to work in. So they're the 2 that we're putting in our single crochets, but in the 3rd loop. So the one where we've slip stitched into, and then the next one. This one here that's in the middle is the one we're skipping once we do our treble 2 togethers. So let's find that back loop first. And the first one's always a bit tricky. 1, 2, and 3. There. So we're going to single crochet in there, and then single crochet in the next one, 3rd loop. Okay, so now we're ready to do our treble. So yarn over twice, pick up the front, the post, pull through 2, pull through 2, leave 2 on the hook, yarn over twice, pick up the post, pull through 2, pull through 2, then finish it by pulling through all 3. So we're skipping that one that was directly in the middle, and we're finding the next one, which happens to be this one. You can see that there. So just find your next stitch after skipping one, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in a row. Third loop. Okay, and the rest is all the same. So the next one we'll be skipping still lines up with the middle of that V, which is good news. Okay, 2 front post treble 2 together, yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through all, skip a stitch at the back and find the third loop of the next 2 half double crochets and put a single crochet in the third loop. Okay, front post treble 2 together, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over twice, whoops, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through all, skip 1, find the third loop, single crochet, 2 in a row. Get some yarn. Okay, front post treble 2 together, pull through 3, skip a stitch, single crochet third loop, 2 in a row, 1, 2. Okay, continue that all the way around. You can see what that looks like. Beautiful. And I'll see you on the other side. Okay, I'm just doing the last one here. And I can see that I've got one there to skip, which is great, and then I'm just slip stitching to the first single crochet to join. Okay, now we're going to pick up our contrasting color, slip it through, chain 1, pull that tight. Okay, so now what we're doing, we are working these 2 front loops that we've missed from the previous round. So now we're working in the 2 front loops, if you can see that there. That one and that one. And we're doing the double crochets into there. And then around on the top of the front post treble, we're just doing a single crochet. Is that what we did last time, a single or a half double? No, we're doing a half double. Okay, so it's good if I remember. Okay, so we're gonna yarn over. Now pick up those 2 front loops there, which is sometimes a bit tricky, that first one especially, and double crochet. The next 2 front loops, double crochet. And in the front post treble 2 together, just a half double crochet up the top, working as normal. So you find the next 2 in the gap, front loops. There's 2 left. Oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to do a treble. Okay, yarn over once, not twice. double crochet, and then a half double just in the top here. Okay, double crochet in the front loops, half double crochet in the top stitch. Okay, so you're always finding those 2 front loops in the center. Oh, my yarn's trying to take over. There we go. And half double just in the top of the treble 2 togethers. Okay, so it's looking like that. So 2 in the gap, 1 on the top. 2 doubles in the gap, a half double in the top. And I'll see you back at the other end. Okay, got these last 2 doubles. And the half double. Okay, and we're finishing off with a slip stitch into the first double crochet. Okay, yep, good. Sorry, just had a moment there. All right, and we're picking up our main color, dropping our contrast, chaining 1 with our main color. Okay, you go over there, you go over here. All right, ball's organized. Okay, so let's see where we have ended up. If we pull this V up to the top, sometimes they sort of connect a little bit further down, but just to get that first one, we want to find that middle stitch again, or the closest one to the middle. And I think I'm going to use this one, so the second double crochet. Yep, so what we're going to do is single crochet in that first one where we've slip stitched. So we always start in the one where we've slip stitched, and we're going to do our treble 2 together in these 2 open ones. Okay, so just use your judgment. Yeah, I've decided to skip this second double crochet all along, and we're going to that'll be sort of the middle of this V, if that makes sense. So that V that we're going with there, this is the one I'm skipping, so I'm starting here and I'll be ending on this one. So there'll be that single and that single, and then, and Kitty's come to say hello. Hello, say hello. Sidetracked. Yeah, so we're gonna, when we come back around, we'll be ending on this one here. So that's the 2 singles in a row. So let's do the treble 2 together. Pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over twice. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through all 3. Okay. Oh, no, I'm silly. I forgot a whole step. Ignore me. Oh, goodness me. Okay, come back to your contrasting colour. Wondering what's going on here. All right, half double crochet in every stitch. The easy one. So we chained 1, we half double crochet in that first stitch where we slip stitched into, and all the way along. Gosh, I really should write this down. It's in my head, I promise. Okay, so 1 half double crochet in every stitch all the way around. and I'll see you at the other end. Okay, I think I am now back on track, almost at the end here. Isn't it terrible when you write things down in your brain and you can't read your own writing? Okay, so we're slip stitching to the first half double crochet. There. Ugh. Snagged a bit of glitter on the way through. Okay, pick up our main color and chain one. Pull. Now let's try this again. All right. Yep, same scenario, I think. So this is going to be our center of our V, which is the second half double crochet. So that's the one we're skipping. So we're putting one in first, and that's going in the third loop. Okay, so one single crochet in the third loop of where you have slip stitched, which is really tricky. And don't stress too much. If you can't find that third loop on the first one, just use the second loop, which is fine because it'll still work, as long as you've got something to grab on the next round. All right, so that's the one we're going to skip. So we're putting our treble two together in now. Pull through two, twice. Pull through two, pull through three. All right, so we're skipping one at the back, that one there. And then we're finding the third loop, so 1, 2, 3, and doing 2 single crochets in a row in that third loop. Grabbing the next 2 posts. So the 2 far away from each other, not the 2 together. Skip a stitch. Oops, I think I've grabbed too many loops there. Okay, third loop, single crochet, third loop. Okay, so that is basically the body of the pattern now. So you're going to do this, so it's a 3-round repeat, and yeah, you're going to do that till your bag is as big as you want it, remembering that there's still about this much to add to the top as well, for the top of the bag. Yeah, so keep going. So you do this front post round, then you do the round with the 2 double crochets in the middle and the 1 half double crochet at the top, 2 in the middle, half at the top, and then you do, don't forget, that easy row of half double crochet in every stitch. Okay, so if you're not sure, just go back and repeat over these bits. Yeah, so it's 3 different rows. This one, the contrasting color, the 2 rows of contrasting color. So 1 row of main color, 2 rows of contrasting color. Okay, and you're just going to grow it as big as you want the bag, and I'll let you know how many rounds I have done when I finish. Okay, so I'll just do a couple more. I'm sure you've got the idea by now. Skip a stitch, third loop, single, third loop, single. Okay, and I'll see you back once your bag is big enough to start the top section. Okay, just finishing up the last one now. 2 treble 2 together. Okay, and this one I am just doing 1 more single crochet, so skipping that one, single in there, third loop, because this particular row I started with just one on this side, so that my skipped one is centered to the V. So yeah, you can decide where you want to start each of that solid row. Okay, well, I have done enough of the bag. I've got that much, and I ended up doing actually 15 rows of the solid color, so I haven't counted underneath, but I've ended up with 15 V's. So if you count each row like that, okay, so each time you did a front post treble 2 together, 15 rows of that. So the next part is pretty simple. We are just going back to doing a so slip stitch to join, chain 1, and we're just doing single crochet in every stitch, because we're going to do a bit of solid like this part here. Okay, so make sure you're picking up the front post 2 togethers and the 2 single crochets in between, and just using both loops to work your stitch, and just doing single crochet all the way around. And I'll see you at the other end. Okay, I'm just almost finished these single crochets. One more, and okay, slip stitch to the first one to join. Right, now so at this stage you can cut off your contrasting color and fasten it off and sew it in, and then that one can go. We won't be needing that one again. Now what we're going to do, just like before down the bottom, if you've done that knit stitch, you want to do the same one, and if you haven't, just do normal single crochets. That's fine. So I'm going to be doing the knit stitch, so still chain 1 every round, slip stitch to join every round. And yes, if you are doing that knit stitch, yes, it is a bit painful, but if you persevere, it's worth it. And I'll be doing 10 more rows of single crochet, whichever way you want to do it. So, it's going to be a pain, but it looks nice. So 10 rows of that, and I'll see you when you have finished that. So yeah, build it up so it looks the same as the bottom bit. See you at the end. Now I'm just doing the last one here. Single crochet, oops, just did a normal single crochet. Okay, in the middle there, the knit stitch version. Okay, and slip stitch to the first one just at the top like normal under the 2 loops there. Yeah. Slip stitch and join. Okay, we can actually fasten off there, so you can fasten off any which way you like. You can do it the invisible way. Yeah, I might do the invisible way today actually. So I'm going to slip stitch a little bit differently. I'm going to pull up that loop, and I'm going to insert the hook from the back into my first single crochet. Hang on, put that yarn underneath. Okay, and bring this loop through. And then pull your yarn through and tighten everything so it falls at the back instead of on the top, like so. Then you can sew that in. So that's the main body of the bag done. There we go. It looks very pretty. So now what we're going to do is the straps, or strap I should say. And if you've never done the Tunisian crochet, I'm going to do it in that form, so you'll learn how to do that as well. So I want to make it about the same size as this section. So just to keep it easy, we're going to do 10 stitches. I think this is 11, but 10's fine. Okay, yeah, so I did this part here is 11 rows altogether. So with the strap, I'll do 10, just so it's easier to remember. Okay, so we want to start with a slip knot. And we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I should just show you what the strap looks like actually. So this is the Tunisian stitch, just the simple stitch. So it looks kind of like knitting. Very pretty. It's nice and solid, very thick. Okay, we're just working in rows back and forward. All right. So we've done 10. Now, all we do, the loop on our hook actually counts as the first one. So I'm gonna pick up the back bump because I think it's just neater. So you can pick up your chain as normal by picking up a loop. All right, but so pick up any loop you want, but I like to pick up that back bump loop here. So that's spine down the back. It just looks a lot neater. You want to use your fingernail to do it. Okay, so and then we just pull out a loop, like you're going to do a single crochet, except we leave it on our hook. So now we've got 2 on our hook. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way along. You're going to pick up all of those loops. So now we've got 3, pick up the loop, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so we've got those 10 loops on the hook. Now the return pass when you're doing the Tunisian is to take off 1 first, so yarn over, pull through 1 loop there. Now the rest, that's like your turning chain, so we just do 1. The rest is pull through 2, so yarn over and pull through 2 until you have none left, or 1 loop left on your hook. So it's pulling through 2 all the way. And 2 more. Okay, so now it looks like this. You have these posts sticking up here, these vertical bars, and that's what we're picking up. We're not picking up anything up here, picking up these vertical bars now. Okay, can you see that? So we actually skip this first vertical bar right on the end, so we don't do this one on the edge. We're skipping that and we're going to that second one. So this one counts as 1. So we're picking up this vertical bar here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that last one on the end, 10. So if you count to 10 each time, you know you're right and you're not losing anything. So to take it off, we take off 1, and now the rest we take off 2. Yarn over through 2, all the way to the other end, through 2, through 2. Now this will curl a bit as you're doing it, but don't worry, the longer it gets, it'll straighten out. Okay, so now we're just skipping that first vertical bar and we're picking up the second loop. So 1, so we've actually got 2 loops on the hook, so we count from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, take off 1, that's our turning chain kind of, and the rest is take off 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. It's looking like that. I'll show you one more time. So skip the first one, pick up the second one. So we've got 2 loops on the hook, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take off 1, take off 2 at a time. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so you just keep doing that until you get the size of the strap you want. So you can either make it, you know, just a handbag, over the arm, over the shoulder, over the body. It really depends what size you want. And I'll just put this aside. With mine, I made it long enough so that I could put one of these adjustable clips on as well. So it's, if you can see that, it's this long plus that extra. So it's adjustable, so I can shrink it or make it a bit bigger if I need to. But if you don't have that, you can just do one size that will suit you. And I've attached it here with these metal loops, but we'll do that after. Of course, you don't have to do that either. Okay, so just keep growing your strap until it is long enough to suit your purposes. Okay, I'll see you back when that's done. Okay, so I've got the length that I'm happy with, and it's worked out to be about 90 centimeters in length. So I'll just show you how to finish that top bit off there. So you're just going to slip stitch through every vertical bar. So again, don't do that first one, picking up that second one like you normally would, and just slip stitch through each vertical bar just to close it off there. And I'm also going to go around the entire edge, and I'm going to make half double crochet slip stitches. So if you're not familiar with those, I'll show you what they are as soon as I do that last one, just to neaten everything off a bit. Okay, so I won't be working in these top loops here. I'm going to work a little bit further down. It's kind of in the middle of each row. So if you can see that, there's your rows there. There's this gap in the middle, and it just falls just underneath those 2 top loops. So if you go the gap between the 2 top loops a little bit further down, and that's where I'll be working in. So not this top one up here, because I want to just close everything off there. So a half double crochet slip stitch is yarn over, go into your stitch, and instead of pulling out your loop, you're going to pull your loop through everything on your hook. Ugh, and that failed that one. Okay, let's try that again. Loosen up. Okay, in, through, and I kind of twist around to get through like that. So we yarn over. Now let's find that next one in there. So instead of pulling out a loop, you are still pulling out a loop, but you're also pulling it all the way through. One hit like that. In, pull it out and through everything on your hook. Yarn over, in, and pull your yarn through everything on your hook. So you've just got an extra loop like a normal slip stitch, but because we're yarning over, we have a little bit more thickness. Okay, so it just looks like that. Yarn over, through, and pull through everything on your hook. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to make my way all the way down to the other end, and I'll show you what I do at the other end, because I'll be attaching one of these rings. I'll see you down there. Okay, so I'm at the end there. Now that looks nice, and it gives it, you know, a good stability as well, so the strap won't stretch too much. But we're going to work the other side as well after I have attached this ring. Okay, so what you want to do, obviously, folding it so the good side is on the outside. Just fold it over. Now this is a little bit fiddly. Get the tail out the way. Ugh, should have sewn that in earlier. All right, and so you just want to fold it over just enough to let that ring in. Now, to make life easier, pull this through a little bit so that you've got something to hold and to work with, so the ring's not in the way. Okay, so I'm just going to attach it anywhere on the side here, just slip stitching now. Okay, so I've just attached that one side. Now the rest of the way around over, you can see these stitches here. So just using one stitch, the stitch up the top, and then just pick up literally anywhere on the other side of the strap and slip stitch it. I've collected a few things along the way there. Try that again. Okay, so I'm in the stitch. And all the way through. Okay, so then you just find your next stitch. Find a spot on the other side and slip stitch. Picking up the next one, both loops of the stitch. And just pick up anywhere there. And nearly done. Just want to try and collect 2 bits of yarn, not just one, on the other side, so it doesn't pull. Okay, and the last one, we're just going to stick on the side here, just to close up that gap. Okay, and we can pull that back through. So that's just attached there, that's for later. All right, now we want to, I'm in a bit of a mess now. Oh, that is going to be going through the loop all the way along. Okay, that's fine. We'll cut it off when we get to the end. All right. So yeah, we're going to be working that strand. It's going to be stuck to the the loop till we cut it off. Okay, so on this side you want to make sure you're facing the good side, not the bad side, even though they're both nice, but yeah, this nice flat side here. And you're going to continue on with your half double slip stitches. And again, the first one didn't work. They don't like me, those first ones. Okay, try that again. Oh, now this one, these stitches look a bit different from the top. So you've got the two loops, and I think that's fine just working in these 2 loops like you normally would. Yarn over first, okay, and slip stitch. Yep. And you want to make these nice and tight so that you don't get any stretch in that strap. Yeah. That looks fine. Bit of a gap actually. So I am not going to work in those top loops. I am going to do what we did before and go a bit further down. Just to tighten and neaten everything. Don't like those holes. So yeah, working in between, find that gap in between those. So the top loops up here, find the middle of them, and there should be a little gap that you can work in just in there. Okay. So half double crochet slip stitches all the way down, and then I'll meet you at the other end. So I've made it down to the end, and I'm just going to continue along that top section as well, just in those top loops, and that will give it that nice thickness as well. One more. Oh, that's a tight one. Okay. And just to fasten off, a normal slip stitch in that very last bit there. Okay, I'm going to chop off a nice long length because I'll be using that for attaching to actually no, I won't. No, that bit stays as it is, so no, just cut off a normal length. All right, try that again. Okay, chain one and fasten off, and then sew in that end. Beautiful. It actually looks quite nice from both sides. Looks like a bit of a ropey kind of texture on that side. It's nice. All right, so also what I'm going to do, just before I continue on, I'm going to find the very bottom of this bag. As you can see, that initial rectangle. And I've got these little bag bottoms just to put on, split pin little feet. Okay, so I'm just going to put, yeah, one in every corner. If you put them all in now, then you can turn it round and do all the splits at the same time. Okay, did I put them all? That one can go a bit further out. Like so, and this will be covered with the plasticky insert that I've got as well. So we'll go inside and see if we can see it. There we go, without losing any, and just split it open. Flatten it out. There it is. Okay, so then when I put my little plastic insert, yeah, just fiddle around with them, make sure there's no bits poking out as they are. That one's got a bit poking out, so you want to just sort of turn it if it's doing that. Flatten them down a bit. Okay, so now we have some little feet there. Great. So what we want to do is find, once we've got our base in place, we just want to find the very edge, one side, so that we can attach this ring to the side, and then the other one will attach to the other side, obviously, but we want to find the really, you know, direct center. Okay, so I'm going to use this side, and you want to line it up, yes, from the very center. So you might even want to put like a pin. I'm going to go grab a pin. Okay, I've got my little stitch marker thingy here. All right, so once that's in the edge, you know that that's the center. So then you can sort of work it this way. You want to attach that bit there. So, okay. And I'm just going to crochet it on. So grabbing some yarn. This is very fiddly again. Slip knot. And yeah, so we're centering it to that bit. And I'm going to find that very edge, and just first of all bring the yarn through. Okay. And slip stitch. So I'm going to go back into where I've slip stitched my yarn through, and you're going to go, ugh, no, it's over. So you're kind of sitting the link on the top so that your yarn, you can drag it through. As you can see, I'm using the tail at the same time just to sew it in. Oh no, that's too tight. So try that again. Loosen up that loop. So we're going in the same stitch. No, hook goes over the top. Yarn is at the back. Oh, this is so fiddly. Once you get the first one, I think the next should be a bit easier. And we're going to slip stitch it through, hopefully. Ah, we made it. Okay, so we're on. Move it to the edge. Now you're going to go into the next. I'm going to drop that tail now. So the rest in later. Go into the next one. Get rid of that tail. So I've gone in the next stitch. You want to go under that hook and bring the yarn through. Sorry, under the loop. Okay, let's do that again. Oh my gosh. Okay, under and slip, under and slip. Oh, that's totally not working. Slip stitches. Okay, my bad. We're gonna single crochet. Okay. This is what happens when your pattern is in your head. Trial and error. Okay, so it was this one. Slip it through. Drop my tail. It's too much in the way. Okay, so in there, my yarn, pull it out and single crochet. Okay, in there and out and single. Next one. Push that through. Next one. Okay, I'm at the marker. I can take that out now. It's a bit easier now. So you want to use as much stitches to cover the length of that link. Go one more. Okay, that should be enough. And what I'm going to do is just slip stitch in the next one and fasten off. Okay, now we've got a few tails to sew in here. That will be later. All right, so now we are going to find the center of this side. Okay, so same deal, find that center fold, put a marker in. Okay, now we want to attach that one that we've already done on our strap. So this one's probably going to be even more fiddly. I'm going to turn it this way so I can work better. So we're going to line up the center and we're just going to find that first spot. So I'm just going by eye. It's about the middle. All right, so the first one will be about here. All right, now the fiddly part. Now I'm bringing the yarn through first, slip stitching. Now obviously make sure your strap is facing the right way, so the good parts on the outside. Okay, so I'm going back into this hole. Scissors are trying to attack me. I guess I am using the kids' scissors because they were the closest. All right, so we're coming out and doing a single. And now it should be a bit easier. Oh, go around the corner. I'll take the marker out now before it gets in my way. Oh, fiddly. Okay. Nice tight singles so they're not flopping about. Oh, it's completely gone around the corner. Come back. There we go. And that should be enough. Yep, slip stitch in the next one. Fasten off. And sew those in. When you're sewing them in, I kind of like to do maybe wrap around a couple of stitches, come in here so it's nice and tight. Yeah, with both those ends, and then secure them off. Okay, so on this side, we'll follow it round. Now I haven't sewn this in yet, but once you do, you want to, I'm attaching one of these adjustable buckle things so that the strap is adjustable. Now if I look at my other one, work out how to do this. Okay, so obviously don't twist your strap, make sure it's all facing the good way. And you feed it through. No, yes, okay, so you've got to put this on first with the good side up. So, oh, and actually you have to go through the other side. Okay, so I've gone through the buckle, now through this loop, and I have no idea if this is the right way of doing it. I'm sure there might even be a better way. And this end here, can you see that? Okay. Actually, this tail might be come in handy because this part's annoying. All right, so you got to go in and out, same way as the rest of it's going. Okay, so in, grab that tail. And out. Pull the rest through. Okay, now it's in. As I said, I have no idea if this is right. But yeah, I know how to crochet, not make bags. Or put together bags. I know how to make bags, just can't put them together. So I'm going with this. Okay, so it is now adjustable. So you can make that strap longer or shorter. Let's overlap them nicely. Yeah, and it's all very fiddly. Okay, that's about right. And obviously, if you don't have any of these buckles or loops, you're just going to put, you know, slip stitch or sew on or single crochet your 2 strap ends to the bag. Simple. You don't have to worry about all this fiddling about. Now I've made sure that this is still straight. Yep, got lots of ends to sew. Okay, so that's the main section done. I am also going to be putting in my pockets. So I've got 2 pockets, one for a phone size and one a bit bigger to put whatever else you want. So you can make, yeah, those pockets whatever size you want. On my phone pocket, I'm also putting this clip for keys, like a key holder. So we can get started on those pockets. Now you could also just line it, make your own pockets with some material if you're good on the sewing machine, but I am not, so I'm just gonna crochet the pockets and pop them in. And so I did, I'm gonna change it up a bit. So with my internal pocket, I've got this zip as well. So I'm going to do it a little bit different to the first bag that I made, but I've changed hook sizes. I've used a 2.2 and it's small enough to be able to poke through that zip hole, the zip material. So what I'm going to do, and that'll save me doing a blanket stitch all the way around instead. So slip knot on. And I'm going to just start single crocheting around this zip. So poke it through. Yeah, and sort of, you know, make the gap about the size of your single crochet. Okay, and just work your way around, poking it through. So I've struggled my way around down the edge here. Now when you get to this bit, you want to stay as close to the edge as possible, so it's, you know, you don't have this gap, you don't want to go all the way to the end. So I'm going to just poke one in here. Oh, it's tough. Pull it out. Now just kind of bend that out of the way. Okay, then jump over to the other side. Same thing. Bend that out of the way. Okay. And continue around the other side. So just, yep, this is nice and painful, so struggle your way around. Yes, there is an easier way, but I'm doing it the laziest way. Okay, so you want to work all the way around, and same when you get to this bit, just try and stay nice and close to the edge and come back around to meet at and slip stitch to where you started, and I'll see you back there. So I've made it back around and I've slip stitched to that first one to finish off. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. It is quite tight, but what I've done now is I've gone back to my 3.5mm hook, and we are now going to do another row of painful crocheting and get through all of these stitches. So chain one, and we're going to work our way through all of these stitches with this size hook, and hopefully they shouldn't be too bad. Just single crochet all the way around. Now I'm going to do the knit stitch, so not on this row but the next row, so you want to really keep it as loose as possible, otherwise you'll be regretting the next row as well. So yep, just nice and loose single crochet all the way around every stitch and around the corner. And so this is, so once you go around the corner, it's actually just going to bring it in to a nice thin pocket, so it'll fold, it'll be folded, you know, like that, and it'll sit a lot better. Okay, so nice and loose single crochets all the way around. And this is pretty much it. I'll show you the knit stitch again once I get back around. But yeah, this is pretty much all you're going to be doing till you get the size of the pocket that you want. Okay, I'll pause that here. Okay, so I've come back to the start, slip stitch to join, chain one. Now if you didn't want the seam, that slip stitch seam, you can always just keep going around in a spiral as well if you wanted to, but I'm just going to join each round. Okay, so the knit stitch is that awful tricky one, where you're going in that little V of the stitch, and as I said before, if it's not done loosely, you're going to struggle. So, oh, this one's a really tight one. So I'm poking my way through and loosely single crochet. No, didn't even make it. Okay, that wasn't it. Let's try getting that smaller hook, poking a hole. So it's in that little V just there. Let's try that again. Yeah. There we go. Hopefully there's not too many of those ones. Poke. Did I miss it? Yes, I did. Okay. There we go. Okay, so the First couple of rounds might be a little bit painful, but trust me, it gets easier. Okay, so yep, just make your way around as many times as you want to get the size of the pocket that you want. Obviously you can do any stitch you want, but I'm going to just do this knit stitch because it's nice and tight and teams in with the top of the bag as well. And yeah, I'll see you back when we have the size we want. So now it's grown to the size I want it, and I actually discovered I had a bigger zip. So this one I started again, and it's a bit bigger than the one I had previously. But yeah, same thing. Okay, so what we're going to do at the end, just to close it off, is just slip stitch the 2 inside loops. So you're picking up 2 inside loops and slip stitching, or however, if you want to close it off in a different way you can. But yeah, just very basic, picking up both sides and slip stitch so the inner loops and the 2 closest to each other. All the way along. Okay, so I'm right at the end here, last 2 there, then I'm just going to pick up that last one on the end, slip stitch and chain 1 to fasten off. Okay, and obviously sew that in. So now we have a lovely little pouch. And what I'm going to just do, I'll cut off a length and I'm just going to simply sew it onto the bag on one side instead of trying to crochet it on. So it's just going to be loose in the bag, so one side will be on and that'll be flopping about inside instead of having the whole thing attached to the bag, down both sides and the bottom. Just going to run some stitches along the top there, and that'll be done. Okay, so I'll just be sewing it on in line with just the bottom of this rim here. But yeah, sew it on wherever you want, really. And obviously leave a length at the start so that you can fasten off this tail and sew it in. So I'll cut off a really long piece, but yeah, you could even use a sewing machine if you're good at the sewing machine. And just center it where you want it on the bag. Okay. And just sew it on nice and secure. So there, so I'm just going to go in and out with this one. So just back and forward. And because I'm on the solid green part, it should blend in fairly well. And that's it. So when you get to the end, just, you know, knot it and work your way like right to the edge under the zip. I know it's a bit fiddly, but yeah, work it all the way to the edge so that bit's not sort of sticking out and it's all nice and flat. And then just fasten off, sew it in, and then we'll get going on the other, the mobile phone pouch. Okay, so now we're going to be making the phone pocket, the internal phone pocket, and all I've done is just quickly chained up the size a little bit bigger than my phone case. So as you can, I should just give it a good stretch. So it goes from there to there, because you want it to have a bit of stretch, because you're going to sew it straight onto the bag. This one won't be a loose pocket, it'll be sewn on to the inside of the bag. Okay, so yeah, just keep in mind bigger is probably better than smaller. You don't want it too tight, so just go a little bit extra. I might throw in a couple extras just to be sure. Nice loose chains. If you tend to be a tight chainer, go up a hook size and then come back down to the 3.5 to start your work. Okay, so all this is going to be is a slip stitch. So I'm using the back bump just so that it looks a bit nicer, a bit neater. So of the chain, if you look at it, you can see that top loop there. There's the middle loop where you can pick up 2, but I'm going to pick up the back loop, the back bump there, that spine down the back. I just find that a lot neater. Oh God, no, I've started single crocheting. Sidetracked. Okay, so slip stitch. And this is all we're doing, just slip stitch. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, and then we'll just be doing back loop only slip stitch. So I'll show you once we get to the end. All right, so I'm at the end, I've done my last slip stitch, chain 1, turn. Now we're going to be doing back loop only. So if you look at your slip stitches, as the V, so your 2 loops there, fall to the other side. So if you look at it from this side, you can't really see your loops. So you've got to look at it from sort of the other side. Flip it over and look at it from the other side of your work. Not even the top. Even if you look at it from the top, you can't find your V. Okay, so flip it over. You're going to look for that first V. Now this is where the yarn is coming out of. That was my chain that I chained 1, so it's not that one. So just look for that next one there. Okay, so we're skipping that chain and we're going just in there. And we're just slip stitching. Okay, so once you find the first one, the rest will pop. And slip. And that is all we're doing. So chain 1 at the end, turn your work, back loop only, slip stitch. And you're just going to grow that the size of your phone case. So once it's that long, it's got a bit of a stretch in it, and it will also have a bit of a stretch the other way as well. Okay, so just keep going along, back loop only, slip stitch until it's the size you want. And then I'll show you how to attach it. Okay, so I've got the length that I want of the phone case, and as you can see, it's nice and stretchy, and it's got a bit of give that way as well, which is what we want. And I've also gone around the whole edge and done the half double crochet slip stitches as well, just to firm everything up a bit. Okay, so there's my phone case, just nice snug fit. And I'm going to fasten a long tail off, so I can use that to sew around the edge. Pull that through. Okay. Grab my darning needle. All right, so now, as you can see, the other pocket is in. Okay, can you see that? So it just sits like that. Beautiful. So I'm just going to go directly opposite. And center it. Okay, so when you're sewing in this part, obviously you don't want the stitching to be shown on the other side of the bag. So when you're picking up loops, you're just going to try and pick up 2 loops of something, but yeah, it shouldn't go through all the way. So you want to be working on the inside bits of yarn. Okay, and all I'm doing, I'm just going around, so coming through each stitch and just picking up a couple of bits of yarn from the inside and coming through the stitch on the pocket. You can see that there, it's a bit dark, but yeah. So I've just done that one. So we're here. Just pick up anything there. Like so. And you're just going to work your way all the way around, obviously not the top. And yep, all the way around, bit fiddly down there. And make sure you're staying straight as you go, otherwise you'll end up with a crooked pocket. So just keep it lined up. Okay, and I'll see you around the other side. Okay, so I've just finished that pocket there. And I finished off here, and what I've done, I've just kind of woven my way through to about here and kind of down a couple of levels. So what I want to do now is sew on my little key holder like that, and yeah, just make your way around a few loops. Few stitches. Just around and around. Now, if you planned ahead, this could have even been crocheted in to this particular row at the time, but I didn't think that far ahead. So we're doing it the hard way. Okay, get the gist, so just keep pushing it over so that you know that you're not making your way all the way over. And if you like, you know, if you want to fill that up a bit more, you could probably do 2 stitches per so 2 loops per stitch, or just come back again. But it's up to you. That's pretty solid. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Okay. And once you've done that, fasten it off, sew in your ends, and this bag is done. I'm just going a little bit over. Feels like I'm going, whoop, lost my yarn. Feels like I'm going over, but as soon as you push it, it's fine. Okay, so I will tie that back on. So I'll just do a little French knot over here. Wind it round. I always like to do a little French knot with my ends before I actually weave them in. And just weave that last bit in. Different directions. Like that. That should do it. Cut that off with my kid scissors. Okay, and that is all done. So we have a little clasp, we have a little flappy pocket there, have an adjustable strap. Beautiful. Got some feet on the bottom. And of course, if you wanted to, you could add, you know, a flap to close it over. You could add a big zip along the top. You could add a magnetic button, or any button, really. Push studs, whatever. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy your bag.